Having a lot of difficulties this morning, this afternoon. The animals, right as I was getting ready to come on here, decided that my cat's room would become a wonderful place to become a potty. So I had to clean up their mess before I could even do anything on here. But welcome. As I said, I'm going to be answering some questions. Feel free to join me as you wish. I'm going to try to do a couple windows here. We know how my computer is with more than one application working at a time, so bear with me. I'm getting all set up today. Christmas holiday is a wonderful time of year. It's also a hard time to get anything done, so bear with me. Sorry. Almost there. So, with Christmas in mind, I hope everyone's having a wonderful month so far. Ups and downs always happens, it seems, at this time of the year. But we're going to stick to the positive stuff, okay? No negative stuff today. I'm going to try to get everything organized here. Now, you may hear a little bit of feedback. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to get this also set up so my husband and daughter can watch it as well. I know they're really big on watching things. As they're both really important to the book, so almost there. Got it. Just taking a really long time to load. Internet's been crazy lately. There's no doing of mine, I'm sure. I'm hearing a lot of problems from other people in the area that also have the same internet provider. Just pulling some stuff up. I probably should have done this beforehand, but you know me, I don't plan very well. But how many of us actually plan and then have life happen? Okay, got the AMA questions up here, so we'll start that in just a moment. There's some really interesting questions this time. I'm very thankful for those who asked them. I'm not thinking this is going to work very well, so let me just go ahead and get started. I'm not sure. Okay, heck with it. If it starts to work, wonderful. If not, then they can watch it as a rerun, right? They usually do anyways. Okay, so we have a couple questions here. I'm going to start at the very beginning because they get more intense as we go along, at least intense on my end. So here we go. We have Marsha from AMA feed. And all of the questions thus far, unless you guys get on here and start asking me questions, are all from AMA feed. And that's authorsama.com. So, Marsha asked, Lorna seemed to be a brutal daughter. How challenging is it for you to imagine the details of the evil that she did to her parents? My take is every book, every movie, everything that's entertaining has to have that one person that you love to hate. So why not put that person in the foreground at the very beginning, and then later on, as in book 3 later on, you find out why they carried out the deeds that they did. Now, for me, Lorna in book 1 is a horrible, horrible person since she's killed both her parents, tried to blame the diplomat for another country, as well as killing Conrad's guards and the rest of her family, both brothers and sisters. However, what pushed it to that will be revealed in book 3. I warn you, not everything is as it seems. Even though she's brutal in book 1, I have some tricks up my sleeves for Lorna. Okay, this is from an email account. I won't read the email name for privacy. When you ask your daughter to check details, is it per chapter or per book? I tend to ask her per book. However, my daughter's autistic. She likes to take things as it's given to her, so she could read a couple sentences as I'm writing it, and she often does look over my shoulder as I'm writing the draft, and it is only a draft, and she'll start correcting me as I'm typing, which is helpful in a way, but also sometimes interrupts the creative flow, and I have to tell her, this is a rough draft, let me get this wrote, then I'll go back and correct what I can, and then you can go back and correct things as you want them. So it gets a little entertaining sometimes. Who does the drawings of the characters, and how long does it take to complete each one? Now, for some of you, you had a chance to visit my website. And I will post a link here in just a minute for that computer willing. All the drawings, all the maps, and all the character renderings I've done myself. One can take anywhere from an hour, maybe 2, to spending an entire day just to get the look of one character correct. So far, I've only done a drawing and a rendering for Nisha, Lily, and David. Later on, I will be posting more, but because I have something else in the works right now, I don't want to post too much on the website, so bear with me. More to come on the characters as far as pictures are concerned. How intriguing to have Nisha, the queen of the Underkingdom of the dead, to have not known about the events of her parents' death. Can you shed a little light here? This is from Geek Me on AMA. I never said she didn't know what happened to her parents. I said she couldn't, no one believed her about what happened to her parents. We find out a little bit in book 3 what Nisha knew at age 13 and what people believed that she knew. If you hear yelling, that's my lovely husband yelling at one or more of our dogs. I'm sorry, my room is not soundproof. So, back to the question. Nisha, as we learn in book 1, becomes the queen of the Underkingdom at age 13. Lily at this time finds out that she is the queen. However, what Nisha knows via the dead and some of the living isn't what people believe, what people know is true, and because they don't know it as truth and they think it's teenage drama. I can't say the word. I apologize. I do have a speech impediment, so some words I just can't say. So what they know is truth and what they want to believe is truth isn't always the same. So in book 3, which is a collection of short stories, we start finding out what Nisha knew, when she knew, and a little bit about what actually transpired 3 days after her birth. Now, the actual answer that I have as written is, and this is a spoiler alert, if anyone does not want to hear the spoiler for book 3, turn off the microphone or the sound on the computer right now. Give me 2 minutes and then turn it back on. So, we found out in book 3 that the dead know for a fact her parents aren't dead. Neither are most of those who vanished during the fire. However, with Nisha still living in light, she is unable to tell anyone what she knows. But that doesn't mean she isn't finding out more. Now, we also find out from the living who is able to tell her this. Now, here's the thing. Characters from book 2 that are minor characters in book 2 become major characters in book 3 and 4. They are living, they are fae, they are powerful. Also pay close attention to bloodlines, as in book 3, they become very important to the storyline. And in book 4, your minds are going to be completely blown as to how everyone is related and why everything is transpiring that has transpired. And I will say for the umpteenth thousandth time that book 4, the end of book 4, you find out about my spelling errors, grammar errors, and a little bit of timeline errors that I'm finding now going back and having pointed out. At the time, I don't think they were intentional, but they work out wonderfully for the 4th book, as somehow before I even wrote the 2nd book, I wrote the ending to the series, which, yeah, it's me. I'm working backwards a little bit. So we have that going on. Let me put my website address on here real quick because you're going to need it for the next couple questions. And so far, everything seems to be working pretty good, so cross your fingers. Okay, it's loaded, so I'm going to go up to the next question. Now, this is non-website related, so how did you round up the 25 authors participating in this event? I didn't. However, author Christine Collins did, and she's at the top of the page. Kudos for putting all this together for not only myself, but the other 24 authors participating in this. It's a wonderful idea, and I hope to do this again. I don't know how many of the authors here are from Wild Dreams Publishing and who's from other publishing companies, self-publishing. I don't know. I'm interested in finding out more about each of the authors here participating in the 25 days of authors. So far, the only one I haven't been able to follow was yesterday. Is ironic because it's the publisher for Wild Dreams Publishing. like I wanted to. So, but I got up today, this morning, going through all the posts and sharing what I can. Okay, now here is the link for maybe yes, here's the link for my website so that you guys have it for when you need it. Okay. See, Breezy X3 asked, how long does it take for you to complete one chapter of the book? This is really difficult because it depends not only on what's going on around me, but how into that chapter I am. And it could be just the first draft, and that could take me anywhere from an hour to a day to write. Then another hour or 2 days to go back and correct the errors in the chapter. Then it gets handed over to my daughter, who can have it done in anywhere from 30 minutes to a week. So in all, it can take up to 2 weeks just to get one chapter done. It's really complicated the way I write, but sometimes it works out, sometimes not so much, but that's the beauty of the beast, right? Okay, Carla Joyce, I cannot pronounce your last name and I apologize, writes, the third book is coming. What's the twist that we can expect from it? Again, this is a spoiler, so I'm going to read as I have written, then I'll elaborate for you. There are several twists. As the third book is 4 short stories, it fills the gaps with lies that have yet to come to light. Betrayal of those who are blood and secrets of the Star Cities. There is a poll right now coming. I'm going to leave it up until the first of the year to help me come up with a name because I'm torn between 4 possibilities. I need help, guys. Really. Right now I have 2 people who've voted. They've voted differently for each one. And I'm conflicted. But I promise you a little bit of spoilers for the third book. So here's what to expect. We start off with the letter from Azia, which is a main character in book 2. And it details a very short time within book 2. I'm going to confuse you guys. So his story, his 2 pages of book 3 is literally taking place at the end of book 2 when things start to happen. Then you have the next story, which focuses on Valessa, which is Nisha's grandmother, and Alista, which is Lorna's grandmother. And you get to learn how Valessa became not only Queen of Dark, but also the Queen of Light. She was not supposed to have the title of either. And what transpires there sets the stage up for Nisha's story. After that, we find out Madrin, which is Nisha's father. We found out his story. Not only that, how he's intertwined with Lorna. Pay close attention here because now we bring in Lorna's story and we find out not everything in book 2 is as it seems with Lorna. Are you guys following me so far? I'm hoping. So we go from Lorna's story into Nisha's 13th birthday. So we find out how Nisha became queen of the Under Kingdom, what Nisha knows, and how Freya comes into being her guard. Nisha's story is very dramatic, and you have to follow it very closely, because if you miss one page of Nisha's story, you're going to miss a lot of the threading for book 4. So, a little confusing, but I hope you guys understand. Everything in there is intertwined. In book 3, you're really going to see the threads of where things connect and where they originated from. And then book 4 comes out and I throw everything away. So. Geek Me has another question. They wrote, do you get recognition or rewarded every time you review another book? Now, here's the thing. Some of you know I do book reviews. I do them on my personal website, which is posted. I do them on Facebook on my author's page, on my personal page, and I also have a group just for reviews. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. I may be able to get you guys a link for that too. I normally don't accept money for reviews. However, I do accept books. I love books. Some of the books I've read, I purchased and did a review for. Some of them have been book trades. So they get a copy of one of my books, I got a copy of their books, and we review each other's. Some of those reviews do not show up on Amazon because they changed their way they do their review system, which really sucks for indie authors and small press authors. I'm not a fan of how they have this set up, because not all reviews, just because we talk on Facebook, does not mean the review is biased. It just means, hey, the author reached out to another author, another person, and was able to ask, hey, can you review this book for me? Sure, why not? Here's a copy of the review for your records, because that's what I do. I've emailed or Facebooked every author I've done a review for, so they have a copy. They don't have to cut and paste from my website or Amazon. They actually have a copy of themselves before I even post it to any of the websites. But other than that, no, I don't get recognition for it. I don't want recognition for it. So books are always great, though. There's a couple books I've reviewed. I actually have the hard copy. One of them I'm getting ready to read right now is called, I'll just show you the book, The Darkness, Ginger Texas Story. I've gotten past the first chapter. I need to devote an entire day to the book because it's already drawing me in, and because it's drawing me in that quickly, I can't just lazily pick up a few chapters, read it, then put it down, and then continue later on. This is going to be one of those books. It's going to be today to read. So look for the reviews because it is coming. I just don't have time today, obviously. I can't pronounce this name, so I'm not even going to. They ask, I know it's a reader's responsibility to read, but can you give slight details on the second book starts as a sequel to the first one? The second book, I'm reiterating, is a prequel set about 3,000 years before the first book. It follows Nisha's descendants and explains how light and dark was created and why. The third book is also another prequel, but focuses on the royal houses of Dark, which I just told you about. It also gives you the royal families of Fan and Light and gives you some subtle hints about book 4, but you have to look closely for the hints, otherwise you're not going to see them. So in reality, the reading order of the Light and Dark series is book 2, 3, 1, then 4. Now, if you sleuth, or even know what a sleuth is, and you read them in the order that they are published, you may be able to figure out why the spelling and grammar errors is so horrible in the first and gets better toward the end. But I don't know how many out there of you call yourselves book detectives and look this type of mysteries within your novels. I know I do. It's how I got hooked on the Fairy Path series by Fairy One Jones. Another great, this is a young adult book series. And if you miss one book, you're going to miss everything. And you miss the hints for the last books in the series. So this is a little bit where I got the inspiration to do a mystery with the book series. And I do give credit where credit is due with these things. Ron 2K17 asks, if the participants are international, what prices can they expect? I am assuming they meant prizes can they expect from the giveaways. I don't know what the other 24 authors are doing for giveaways until their day of the author takeover. For me, myself, I have bookmarks, pens, and one autographed copy of the new Ring. But since no one seems to be playing the games today, I guess I'm not giving away anything. So it's a little sad for me, but you guys get to miss out. So that's nature of the beast, and I understand. But the giveaways will be open until Christmas Day. So just throwing that out there, guys. You don't have to be live with me today in order to enter the games that I have. So just want you to know that. And I will be drawing the winners at random. Also, if anyone's interested, thinking about doing a t-shirt, which I don't know how many guys or ladies know that I have a merchandise site for the Of Light and Dark series. If anyone's interested on that, let me know if you would like that instead of the bookmark and pen. But that's for the Simon Says game, and you have to play all 3 rounds in order to win anything. I have not yet started that for one reason. I haven't been home. So as I said, it's Christmas time. Everything is as it should be. Hello, I don't know who just popped in on me. Welcome. Oh, hi, Val. We're doing AMA right now. Okay. Vicky from AMA asked, your sense of creativity has created an almost real world. How much time did you spend on detailing everything, including the supposed interviews of the characters? So far, I've only done one character interview, and that's for Nisha. And this is part of a interview that's in one of the online blogs. Forgive me, I don't know the name right now. It is posted on my author's page. And if you really need it, IM me and I would get you the actual interview for that blog page. But that took me a little bit over an hour just to go through it because it was so much fun. And I love to get in the heads of the characters. So, but everything else from the genealogy to what you see on the websites has taken almost 2 years to compile in total. But it's been a lot of fun doing so. Let's see. Okay, another question from AMA. You seem to have a laid-back life. How has it contributed to your creativity? Darlings, no one has a laid-back life. It is what you make it. I'm a mom of an autistic child, wife to a disabled veteran. I have my own disabilities, plus I have my dogs, my cat, and my chickens. Trust me, just with the animals alone, nothing's laid back. You would think so, but with animals, they have their own personalities and you have to go with the flow every day. However, with life, I have so many creative outlets that I have yet to put to words. So, Of Light and Dark is going to be the first, I hope, of many books. One I have been asked to write at least a dozen times now, which would be an autobiography about my life and struggles leading into where I am today. The reason for this has been for things that happened before I was 18 that I've had to overcome. My illnesses that led to 2 strokes, a craniotomy, and a slew of medical conditions. And then going into being an author and the struggles just to get your name out there and overcoming everything else. That's just the touching stones for this. I have no idea how to put this into words. So it may come out as a fictional book instead of biography type book, but I would try to base it on my personal experiences. Shall I actually get into this? Because a lot of things are very touchy subjects, and it's very hard to talk about some of them, although I do with ease when I'm doing guest appearances to talk about overcoming obstacles, and you can find that on my website as well. How to get a hold of me if anyone needs a speaker just for that reason. Another person at AMA says, do you have any free workshops for inspiring writers? I have not thought about doing a workshop solely because I don't consider myself a high enough valued author to do a workshop. Shall I, in the future, get some recognition or start feeling like, yeah, I can teach someone something, I would be more than glad to do this for you. If you have a question from book cover designing, mock-ups, banners for Facebook, yeah, I can point you to the right direction. Most of my own I do to myself. I've started doing this for friends for the banners. Other than that, I don't know how to help right now because I'm still learning as I'm going. But thank you for, I guess, wanting to be an apprentice, if that's even the right word at this time. but I would love to talk with you and find out what you need, maybe get you into contact with someone that could help you further your own writing career. Okay, that's all from AMA right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Now, I touched base a little bit on book 3. I need help with the name. Please, please, please help me. I don't ask for help, but I'm so conflicted because the characters in book 3 are so draining for me, and they're pulling me in too many directions to come up with a solid name for the book itself. However, I do have the name for book 4, which will be entitled The Silent Wars. And yes, I said wars, W-A-R-S, not war. There's 2 battles or 2 wars going to be fought in book 4. One you can almost know about at the end of book 1. The second, I doubt anyone's going to see coming. But that's me. I can't just do one thing halfway. So we have that going on. Yeah, I don't have my necklace on today. I normally always have my little dragonfly necklace. I have it. I couldn't get the clasp on. That comes with this me trying to hurry today and be with the family doing a family fun day in top of trying to be here with you guys, which I'm having a blast doing, by the way. Always do. Okay, I promised to do a short reading of book 2. And I think I'm done reading the first part of the book. Now, book 2, I have my first 5-star review on Amazon, so I'm so excited that you guys are finding this book so much more entertaining than the first book. However, I'll have stellar reviews on book 1, and you will need both before book 4, because otherwise you're going to be so lost. And I promise you, you do not want to be lost in book 4. So I'm just going to flip to a random page or a random chapter, because I don't believe in just picking a chapter beforehand, but letting the book pick one for me. And it has worked out for me in the past when I've done podcasts with other hosts. So Primavera gazed out her Solaris window, watching the magma bubble up from the riverbed. She heard his light footfalls coming down the long hallway, but didn't turn around until he gave a hesitant cough. Alec, are the boys settled for the moment? They are. Carefully, he took a single step into the room. This was one of her private rooms, and not a place that she would normally choose to have anyone for any reason. Yet he had to give her his report on the boys. They seem younger than they did when you first brought them here. Another bubble popped as she sighed. As I should. Magnus used an incantation on both of them to hide who was older. Apollo is barely 50 light cycles. His brother a few less. From what they remember, the youngest brother has just had his 10th light cycle, but looks much older. Light cycle. He sounded puzzled, and Alec was rarely puzzled. Yes, she had never explained life within the Star Cities. She narrowed her eyes. In 1,000 years, she had been able to refrain from speaking too much about her home. Now, did she even have a choice? Each star has a different measurement of light cycles. The closest to Pallas come into adult form more quickly than those further away. It has something to do with the tributes and how the power is divided between the stars. I do not know how truly it works. Some things are forbidden to ask about, and my life is much too important to be killed asking a silly question. She heard him shift his weight from one foot to the other, unsure of what to ask. She heard his deep breath just before he said, "So the boys, since they're no longer bound to their star city, or the powder that fed the incantation, the true forms are becoming apparent. In another day or two, the forced memories will fade, and the true ones will surface." Alex slid closer to her, but not daring to be close enough to touch. "I don't recall you going through this change." A soft smile twitched her lips. "I didn't. The moment that I could, I broke the bound which was still within my home. My parents were not happy. I think my father was punished because he's the one to tell me how it could be done." She took a breath and turned back to the window. After several long moments, she shuddered. "In my star city, the queen and all of the women there have all the power, or at least the ones that are allowed to use the majority of those powers. The women control every aspect of the man's life. In my father's case, with him being the consort, punishment meant pain. My mother relished in it. I remember days when my father could barely stand, even if no wounds were visible." I'm going to stop there because really I'm getting into things that are not PG. Another thing with my books, each one is getting a darker tone. This is intentional. Yes, my 14-year-old daughter, sorry, she was 13 when I started the series, reads each book. So some things are suggested. Some things are there in black and white. But yes, they are getting darker. And there's some things she yells at me for because they're too suggestive. It's me. I'm an adult. I write. Not everything is PG. I can't. My mind's not there. Sorry. It just depends on my mood in that day, how dark I want to take the story. And some things I lighten up when I'm going throughout it. Now, some good news, as I said, maybe you're looking at this. I have finally won my first official seal that says winner. Yeah, I didn't win anything but the seal that says winner. So it's a good marketing tool. I love it, but it's a boost to confidence that, hey, I finally have a seal on not one, but both books because I wrote this year and published before the 31st. So they're both allowed to use this seal that has the word winner of something. So kudos for me and the other 49 contestants that have the seal in the books now. Also, fingers crossed, I have something in the works. In negotiations with a couple people for something really big. I don't want to say too much, but I'm hoping 2018 is going to be a stellar year of light and dark. I don't see a reason why it won't be, but I have the groundwork laid for this. So, and this all ties into my drawings and things that are on my website. So maybe if you guys want to poke around what's going on the website, you may be able to pick up a hint or two. But I can't say it because I don't want to jinx myself, and I'm very superstitious when it comes to certain things. Val, you having questions for me today? Maybe. As I see you're the only one visiting with me live. Okay, well, let me describe my tree in the back real quick. Now, you guys see the butterflies. You see the blue bulbs. Little random information about me. All my Christmas trees have a nature theme. This one is a blue and gold with birds and butterflies. My tree in the living room is red, white, and blue, so it's patriotic themed, but still has birds, butterflies, dragonflies, and I think flowers on that one. But I try to compromise what I want on the tree versus what my husband and my daughter want. So they pick up the colors every year. I pick out the decorations that go with that color scheme. And it works out pretty decently, I think. A couple of things with the Fallen, if you guys haven't already figured it out. All my books on page 1. Let me see if I can. Has a letter to you, my readers. Read this, or you're going to be frustrated with the book. Map of the realm. If you can't see the small image that's there, please, please, please go to my website. A bigger version is there, and it also has where the borders are for light and dark, the marshlands, and the mystic woods. But the natural border of the marshlands is the mountains, which you're going to find out with book 2, if you haven't already, is the family traits. This took me a long time to put together, but this is the only outline for the book that I have. I'm a pantser. I do not outline books when I'm writing. This is literally as close to an outline as I have ever taken a book. There is, according to, yep. Maybe I'm not right. There is one error within my book. My daughter found it for me, and it wasn't until she pointed it out that I realized I sent the wrong page to my publisher. The correct page, if you need, is also on my website. But here's the page that I'm talking about. Do we see a problem? I have 1 through 6 of part 1, and then I jump all the way to chapter 13. I'm sorry. I'm horrible. I sent the wrong page when I did this. But the correct paging, if you need the correct chapter numbers, is on my website, so it's there. Also, there was one more thread that I don't know if anyone's ever figured out yet, but right there, see that little dragon right there? Let me show you something. Dragons on the back there. And the cover of 3 and 4 also have a dragon somewhere on the cover. That dragon that you guys see becomes very important in book 2 and extremely important in book 4. So follow with me. Part 1, okay, you get a sense of a dragon toward the end. Book 2, you find out where the dragon came from, sort of. Book 3, when you get into Nisha's story, you find a little bit more about the dragon. But book 4, the dragon plays a main character. So right now, the dragon is Nisha in book 1, Sisha, which is a male name, book 2, Nisha's in book 3 as a dragon, Shisha is returning in book 3, and an unnamed dragon will be in book 4. But as I said, it's very, very important to follow along, because by book 4, you're going to have to go back and have the other 3 books to go back and see who I'm talking about, if for no other reason, to refresh your memory about where the storyline has been, to follow along with where it's going. And I promise I have a stellar ending to the book series. However, I've been asked by my daughter to continue as a series, which will be possible if you all want me to. I'm not saying I'm giving up on Of Light and Dark, but there are other books that I want to concentrate on. But I can come back to the series at a later time because of where book 4 ends. And it has a stellar cliffhanger, and I love writing it so far. My daughter, she read it. I have not written the rest of book 3. I have not started book 4 other than the end of the series. And she fell in love with the ending, and she wants to know how I got to that point. But she understands where I'm going. And the only reason she's read it is because my editor reads everything before I even get it to print. Well, I think I took enough of your time. I have Simon Says coming up in about 15 minutes with round 1. Now you're going to have your choice of prize that you can either get an autographed copy of The New Reign or a autographed t-shirt of your choice from my website. And I'm going to post a link for that real quick here, if it will come up, because I've been having some trouble with the site itself. Maybe. Okay, the computer's being very slow. Now here's the thing. Of Light and Dark, The New Reign has been trademarked. So, I don't have a little TM on all the things, but it is trademarked now, so. And there is a reason for it, but I won't say what the reason is yet, but there's a clue. So, okay, there's a store website for merchandise. Buy something if you see something you want, you like. I cannot guarantee for Christmas delivery. They're being very slow, but I will be given the choice of a t-shirt or a signed New Reign copy to whoever wins the 3 rounds of Simon Says, and they're going to be 30 minutes apart for each round. So please join me. I really want to give away something today. Also, the first game, it will be open until Christmas Day. Simon Says will be open until this time tomorrow. So I'm not going to just take it down today. I'm going to give you guys, because I know it's hard to get on other takeovers every day at the same time. So I'm going to leave it up for 24 hours before I pull a winner. You do have to participate in all 3 rounds. And I think I have one other game planned that I'll also leave up that one till Christmas Day as well. But thank you all for being here. Val, thank you for joining in. You sure you don't have any questions for me? Type them quickly. because I can answer anything. I will answer almost anything. I hope everyone has a safe and happy Christmas, winter holiday, or whatever you call it, and a very safe New Year's. I'll be probably on one more time checking in before I go to bed tonight, but I have to be up very early for some other event in the morning. So have a safe holiday. Enjoy your family, and talk to you guys later.